Hey there, welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. Okay, so today it's our series, episode 45 from 2007, Rock Greats Who Thrilled Us But Have Since Passed On. So we have two names today, Ian Wallace of King Crimson, Brad Delp of Boston. Okay, sorry, it's getting a bit hot in here. Okay, so we'll do Ian Wallace first because we always do. Those who passed first go first. So, Ian Wallace was born September 29th, 1946 in... need these, I took them off. In Bury, Lancashire, England. He died February 22nd, 2007 in Los Angeles, California at the age of 60. His music was rock, pop, and jazz. Instruments were drums, percussion, and he did do vocals as well. And he was active from 1968 to 2007. Okay, so a little bit about him. His first band was called the Jaguars in 1968 before he joined John Anderson in the Warriors, John Anderson of Yes fame. Then in 1968 he filled in for Bill Bruford in Yes while Bill Bruford was on hiatus. After that he joined the Big Sound, and then he joined King Crimson in 1971 and played on the Island record, and left the band in 1972 when he decided to do other things. Sorry about that. He played for a long list of people, and some of them included Foreigner, Joe Walsh, Brian Eno, Procol Harum, just to name a few, but there was a ton of them. In later years, he founded the Crimson Jazz Trio. He died of esophagus cancer in 2007 at the age of 60. So, Ian Wallace, pretty good musician, played with some very, very good bands. I think Yes and King Crimson, pretty talented group of people to be playing with. I like some of his stuff quite a bit. And of course, being a kind of a decent drummer, because he filled in for Bill Bruford, so you got to be pretty decent to do that. He played a lot of stuff for a lot of people. Drummers were always in great demand back then in the 60s and 70s, and I think he was a person that liked to play a lot of different styles of music for a lot of different people. Plus, he probably enjoyed the money, too. Okay, sorry. It's a bit late. I shouldn't have stayed up so late, but it happened. So now we're going on to number 2, which is Brad Delp. Brad Delp, born June the 12th, 1951, I believe. Yep, 51, that's what I have written. It might have been later, but I think it was 51. Peabody, Massachusetts. He was born in Peabody, Massachusetts. He died March 9, 2007 at the age of 55 in Atkinson, New Hampshire, USA. Hard rock and rock, vocals, guitar, keyboards, and harmonica. So he did do quite a bit. And he was active from 1969 till his death in 2007. Okay, so he and Paul Goudreau, sorry I dropped my glasses there. Paul Goudreau, along with Tom Schultz, formed Mother's Milk, which later became Boston. On those Boston's albums, he performed the entire vocal range, like all the lead vocals, all the backing vocals, all the harmonies, everything. He had a tremendous range. He could hit some notes he had such a smooth, angelical voice. and just could hit ranges way beyond what most people could. One of the best rock singers, I think, of all time. He did, on the debut album for Boston, he did co-write Smokin', and then wrote the last track on the album, which was Let Me Take You Home Tonight. That album is just replete with hits. That's all it is. It's just a freaking greatest hits album. The album itself sold over 20 million. From the mid-90s till his death, he played with a Beatles tribute band called Beetlejuice. But he did work with Boston on their second and I believe their third album, but was replaced by somebody else on the fourth album. In 2007, he committed suicide. There's lots of speculation as to why he committed it, but the fact is that he committed suicide, so why he did it really doesn't help him or anybody really knowing that. Anyways, he was a great singer. He had some really strong vocals and such a range. The guy could hit notes well beyond the range of most rock singers. And he had kind of a angelical voice as well. I've said this before, but bears. And then having played on that debut Boston album, he's going to be immortalized there because that was the biggest selling debut album in rock history, I believe. So there you have it, my two choices for tonight. Brad Delp, who I admired for his vocals. He also did play a lot of instrumentals on. He was always playing something other than just singing on most of the albums. So I admire him quite a bit. Ian Wallace I don't know as well, but I enjoy the music from which he played, so I wanted to give him some feel. So my honorable mentions tonight include Donnie Brooks, Sneaky Pete Kleinoff, who was with the Flying Burn Two Brothers. I don't know what I wrote there. Burn Two Brothers? I'm not sure. Denny Doherty from Mamas and the Papas, of course. John Lane from Bill Haley and the Comets. Mark St. John, guitarist from Kiss. Zola Taylor from the Platters. George McCorkle from the Marshall Tucker Band. Kelly Johnson from Girls' School. Ike Turner of Ike and Tina Turner. And Oscar Peterson. So a fairly... and then, of course, Huey Tomlinson of the Outlaws and Skinner. I forgot him. I wrote it a little lower than the others. So, anyway, so there was a lot of great musicians that died that year. Not as many as some years. Bit of a lull, which is good. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And we'll stay tuned for episode 46 coming up. Who do I have on the taps for that? So let me look here. So the 2008 look back series video will be about John Rutsey of Rush fame and Mitch Mitchell of the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So a couple of power trio drummers. So and two drummers that I know a little bit about. I've listened to quite a bit of their stuff, so it should be a little bit more in-depth one than tonight's, which is sometimes hard to do because there's not as much about them as you want to say, but you know that you like them. So there you have it. Rock musicians who thrill us but since have passed on. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe and tell me what you think or what people that you wanted to remember from that time period. So I hope you have a good night. So this is Murph from Prog Monster. Bye.